Hey YouTube, welcome to my shop. I'm Mike Hedden. I wanted to introduce you to the proton deionizer from the Starship Enterprise, otherwise known as the Porter Cable Omni Jig joinery system. Now, right now it seems pretty darn complicated to me, and I'm anxious to get into it. I'm going to make some practice dovetails, just to see how it goes. This is a big machine. The accessories are here on my router table, but I have a very small shop, so for something to take up a pretty big footprint, it's got to be of value, be able to be used. Now, everybody in woodworking knows that dovetails are the most beautiful joint for a drawer or a side of a box or anything. But they're also time consuming, and they're difficult to some people, and I guess that's why they made these jigs. So I've seen people on YouTube bang out a dovetail, wham, 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 but I think they forget to tell you that they do it every day and they've done it for years. So somebody in a small shop like mine that gets out into the hobby 2 hours a day, that's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of time. This may relieve that and still give you quality. Dovetails are here, handmade dovetails are, this is mechanical skill, this is handcraft skill, and handcraft skill is, the best because it's handcrafted. But anybody that loves woodworking or just loves the beauty of wood itself, those different textures in a dovetail, those different colors and textures of the wood, that's what makes a dovetail beautiful. So hopefully this isn't as complicated as it looks, and I might be able to use it and have a place for it in my shop. So the Porter cable, it comes with multiple jigs. Now this I believe is the main jig. This is you can adjust the width of the tails and the pins. You flip it over. What I found so far, I think. And then this is for I believe a sliding dovetail, through dovetail, where the dovetail will be in here like a shelf would slide in, being a dovetail. Now I believe this one also does the box joints, which I'm interested in too, dovetails and box joints. Now here's some do-me jobbers. I've got a set here, there's a single set here, I've got a set on the Omni Jig itself, and I've got another set in the drawer. I'd like to tell you what they are, but I don't know yet. And then you've got the dovetail bit set going from very small to quite large, 1/2 inch I believe it is. And then you've got the collars, and then you've got the jig itself. Now I always, when I got this and was first looking into it, I thought it was a 24 inch, but it's actually a 16 inch. And the 16 inch is how big of space you have to do your work. So there is an Omni Jig bigger than this. So I'm reading the directions right now, and I'm going to start putting wood in it one step at a time, and I'll see how this thing works out. I'm kind of anxious. Well, thumbing through the manual, I've got my pretend drawer set up. I've got it labeled I for inside, P's for pin boards, T's for tail boards, and that's the way it says to set it up. But now there's a matter of how long to cut these. Now this is these are all 8 inches, so according to this, board lengths. Now this is for this example, they're assuming the drawer is 12 inches long, 10 inches wide. The tail height of the dovetail is 3/8 inch, and the pin boards are 3/4 inch thick. So you got to remember that. So let's just say we wanted to do a half blind dovetail on the front. That means it doesn't show on the front of the drawer, and then the pins, you know, will show on the side, and then in the back use a through dovetail on the back. So a half blind on the front, through dovetail on the back. The formula is the length of the tailboard is determined by subtracting the pin board thickness from the outside dimension of the tailboard side and then adding back the tail height distance. Hey, easy. Okay, let's say we want half blind on front and back. The board length of tailboards for this example is determined by subtracting the thickness of both pin boards from the outside dimension of the tailboard side. Then you add back the sum of the desired tail heights, and then you've got the distance, which is in that case 11¼ inches. I think I'd better study this a little more. Okay, I've got everything set up, I believe, right, by the directions. I've got the pin board in with the outside of the drawer facing the jig. I've got it put up toward the fingers. I've got the stock in the back to prevent tear out. I've adjusted my D4 dovetail blade to this height over here on the adjuster. I've got a G1 collar in, and I think I'm ready to route. Let's try it. Let's see what we got. We shall lift the board. Now I've got to cut the tail board and see how it fits. Stay tuned. Well, I fought this thing for days. I mean, I have fought it so much that I came this far from putting it on Craigslist for the price of a good dovetail saw. So, you know, according to the directions I got, this Omni Jig should do through dovetails, variable spaced half blind dovetails, single pass half blind dovetails, rabbited half blind dovetails, sliding tapered dovetails, and box joints or finger joints. Now I only heard of through dovetails, blind dovetails, and box joints. The others I have no clue on. So right now I'm just trying to go to the through dovetail, you know, the through dovetail. So I have had a tremendous amount of problems with it. I mean, I would do the directions, you know, cut the tailboard first, cut the pin board second, and it was just too tight. It wouldn't even go together, you know. So according to the directions, every process has a stop. Now this happens to be an A4 stop. A4s are for cutting 3/4 of an inch stock or bigger. A3s, on the other hand, are for cutting 1/2 inch stock. Now I don't have an A3, so I've been trying on the A4, which is 3/4 inch stock. Now, according to the directions, the template runs up and stops against this stop. So if it's tight, you've got to back it off. If it's loose, you got to tighten it up. But there's two. There's one, you know, this one pushes against this. When you flip the template over, it pushes against this one. It doesn't say, it just says tighter that way, or looser that way, tighter this way. So it doesn't, obviously when you do one, you got to do the other side. But it doesn't say to, you know, really give you instructions. Do you do both of them? Do you do only one and then do only the other, or is there a way to look at the joint and see which you need to adjust? Well, I haven't got that far yet. I have found out that it's a lot simpler than I thought it was, except for getting it to work. So anyway, I've worked and worked and worked on it, and let me give you an example. I got it down to a point of this. Let me see if I can macro this for you. Okay, that. I mean, that is pathetic. I mean, any one of us could probably cut a better dovetail with a pocket knife and a blindfold. So this is not the work of a $600 unit. So there has to be something wrong, or something I'm doing wrong. So, not knowing what to do or what I was doing wrong, I know I was making a mess of a dovetail, and a $600 unit should make it beautiful. And I saw Norm Abrams giving a demonstration on YouTube, and they were beautiful. So I said, there's something I'm doing wrong. So, you know, I took this directions to bed, and I'm sitting there trying to study it and see what I'm doing wrong. Basically, the operation of the jig isn't near as complex as I thought it was. It's just getting it to work, you know, and I couldn't do it. So I'm sitting there reading this and reading this. Now, on the pod here, they've got router depths for single pass half blind dovetails, single tapered, single or sliding tapered, and then these right here for your own user defined. Well, I didn't read, you know, I wasn't ready for user defined, so I just kind of skipped that. Well, I went back over user defined, and lo and behold, there's a little chart with the length that these are supposed to be from the factory. In other words, on an A4, the left one should be 1.946 inches long. The right one should be 2.805 inches long. So, I mean, I got out, I said, maybe that's my problem. So I got out of bed, because I was adjusting the depth of the router, trying to get this thing, the router bit. So I got up, got dressed, came out here, got my digital electronic caliper, and I put it on this A4, and it was radically off. I mean, one was almost a 1/4 inch shorter, one was almost a 1/4 of an inch longer. So I went through and I set all these by the book. Now I've cut the pins, or excuse me, I've cut the tails, And I adjusted the router bit with the straight edge, flipped it over, made the pins, and then I routed out the pins. Okay, so now the thing is, there's the board. Now I have some split out here, but I'm going to blame that on, I have, believe me, messing with this thing, I have filled up a half a trash can of router dust, and I've dulled a Freud and a D4 Porter cable dovetail bits. So let's see if this works.
Whoops. Wow, that's still a little snug. I could probably loosen it up a little more, but maybe I don't want to. Maybe snug is good. The pins are just a titch, just a titch proud. The tails are right there. So I do have a little split out, but I think that's because of the dull blade and very dry old wood. So I'm happy with the through dovetail. I'm very happy with it. I think it came out really nice. Maybe just a little more, one more adjustment will be perfect. So I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to throw it away to Craigslist. Now let's try the next one, the sliding blind. See if we can get it better than the through. Believe me, I'm going to check the gauges and stops next time. All right. After fighting to the point of giving up with the through dovetails, the variable spaced through dovetails, I came down to the variable spaced half blind dovetails. Now this jig is set up for variable space. So one thing I know is the half blinds is really easier than the through, because you use the same D4 router bit, and you use the same I think it's 4. Yeah, G4 template guide that fits in these things. So anyway, this is about my third test. I'm pretty confident that this will work. I've already done, I guess you'd call those the tails. And then the pins, I just routed out, zingo, zingo, zingo. And we'll see if this puppy works. Okay. That's tail inside, pin board inside. Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. I've been doing 2 different ways. I better get my oh yeah. Just a little tapping. And that's pretty nice, considering I've got real dull router blades. I mean, I have used my router blades up. But that's half blind, and I think it's going to be a very nice nice joint. Yes, sir. So as far as this table goes, I was really intimidated by it at first, and then I was frustrated by it at second, but I've gained a lot of respect third. I mean, once you adjust it and dial it in, it makes beautiful joints. So there is some things that I would warn you about. just move a little, move the stops just a little. Start out at the base and try that first, and then if it's too loose or too tight, just move it maybe 1.5 turns at the most. I think these are 32nd inch threads. So, you know, you have to move it enough to make it work, but you don't want to make it, you don't want to move it enough to make it go from bad to worse or over. Another thing is, I found that make sure all the things are tight. You know, make sure everything's tight. If these aren't tight when they're held down and the router hits that board, it'll jerk it out, and then your work is lost. So make sure everything. This I got just kind of tight, and as I was routing, I saw the vibration just, you know, just loosen it right up. So if you get everything and you get everything put up to the square to the stops, and you get everything down, pushed tight and tightened up, and your router bit depth's right, you're going to make a beautiful joint. And it's going to take a little practice, but once you start practicing, you know what these do, what these will look like when you cut them, or what these will look like when you cut them. You kind of get a visualization in your mind on what's about to happen, and that helps a lot. So this is a very expensive, I mean, it's expensive as hell, but well, I guess hell's kind of cheap. It's expensive as heaven, but if it's set up right, it's a heavenly tool. And for those that want to make beautiful, strong joints, it really serves the purpose. So I take my hat off to Porter Cable once I learned how to use this beast. I'm happy with it. So thank you very much, you two, for hanging around and seeing my frustrations on this thing. But once I ironed them out and spent more time than I want to trying to figure it out, it came together real nice, and I think it's gonna be an asset to my shop. So everyone take care, and we'll see you next time.